All right. Right, online, if you're not seeing or hearing, you'll let me know, right? Feel free to message right there. All right, so for first thing first, we need to just have an idea of what the quadratic will always look like, right? All right, so generally, anytime you see someone looking like this, y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, and then something looking like that, that's a quadratic. All right, you can do this with months, right? Today will be months, right? So generally, the quadratic looks like this. Kelsey, right? So generally, the quadratic will look like this. Okay, and while we there, I want you to also know about two other types of equations. A linear equation. That much? Sorry. Right. So there are three types of equations that we need to learn about, right? Right. One is our quadratic that always looks like this. The highest power of x is 2. There's a next one that's called a linear. Y is equal to mx plus c. The highest power of x is 1. And there's a next one that we're going to do later on. Right? And I'm not spending much time on it, but it's called a cubic, where the highest power of x is 3. Each of these equations will look a particular way. So the quadratic, and this one here, will look like this. Right? They have a particular shape. They have two shapes, so they look like this or this. Linear, and a straight line. Right? So they would look like this, or they can even look like this. Okay? So once you see this, it's a straight line. Once you see this, it's a curve. Right? And then there's the next one that looks something like as a cubic. Don't worry with this one too much. These are the two that you have to focus on in maths. All right? Once you see this, you got to be able to draw it. Once you see this, you got to be able to draw it. Hang on. Right, sorry. Right, so we have those three equations, right? Okay, as I said, we're going to focus on this. So in a quadratic, we need to be able to pull out a few things, right? We need to be able to pull out A, B, and C, right? A is the value and the sign in front of x squared, and B is the value and the sign in front of x, and C is our constant. All right, and we're going to use those things in all the formulas I'm going to give you. Anybody able to solve a quadratic? Yeah, geometry. No. Yeah, nice. So you kind of work with this a little bit. Oh, this is my paper. I'm gonna see calculators. Right. So my advice here for those who have a sharp. That's all right. Get it. All right. Right. This calculator will save you a lot of time. Even this calculator. Right. Sharp now level for argument something. Right. Once that's passed, you have a good time. Or you have it. Right. So try if you do have one, but you have a sharp, try and get it. And get it. And you'll get it in place. Right. Those who are online, right? I will send you a picture of this one. Sorry, wait in the wrong place. Right. Those who are online, I'll send you the description of it, right? You want to try to get a calculator. And if you look on TikTok, I have a few videos on how to do a few things on it. All right. So try and get it. It will take you a lot of time, especially when you have to draw this and sketch this something. Right. So let us say, for example, let's say, for example, I give you a quadratic that looks like this. 5x squared minus 2x plus 4. Okay. Almost right? Hey, bring it out for it. Come in. Right. If we have a quadratic like this now. Y is equal to 5x squared minus 2x plus 4. Can you tell me what is A, what is B, and what is C? A is what? Anybody? If you have, once you answer one question in class, I won't answer again for the rest of it. Yeah. 5 and within years -2, right? The value and the sign. And if you get it wrong, you have to answer 2 more to make them, right? So the value, don't forget that, right? It's the value and the sign. So look at that. Don't forget the sign. And last one. C is what? Anybody? +4, right? Value and sign. So that's number 1. Suppose I make it look like this. Online, you're okay there? Right? As I said, I mightn't here. Although I will change up this for next week, but your message of any issues, right? Amrit? Hey, Jacob, you wake up early, right? Right? So if any issues, just message right there. Right? Try and message the host. Right, nice. But suppose it looks like this. Suppose it looks like this, right? 4x plus 3x squared minus 1. Right? Suppose it looks like this instead. 4x plus 3x squared minus 2. What are you going to do? Right? What you're going to do? right? Very good. Rearrange, right? The reason you rearrange is that you always want the one with the highest power first. So you want the squared, then the x, then the constant. Okay? And it's okay if a quadratic doesn't have one of these. Okay? It's okay to not have one of these, but you have to have an x squared too. Otherwise, what? Suppose it doesn't have an x squared too. It's a what? It will be a linear, right? Polynomials, all these are polynomials, right? But it will be a linear, right? Very good. If you do have the x squared. Are you okay with that? Yeah? Right, so the first thing we will do is rearrange. So you'll end up with 3x squared. Oh, by the way, when you rearrange it, you don't change the sign. Okay? You only change the sign when you move something across the equal sign. All we do is rearrange it. So this is plus 3x squared. Then you put the x term. Then you put constant. Okay? So A is how much? Anybody? A is how much? Positive 3. B is how much? And C is negative 2. Right? You'll see it online there. Nice. Very good. Go ahead. Copy it down. Okay. Try one. Okay. Right. Okay. In 2 weeks' time, I will talk in whole class. Right, two missing. We plenty of them missing from the holidays. During the holidays, you all didn't miss anything. Like during the holidays, what I did is I kind of gave those kids who came introduction to everything in admin. So we kind of did a lot of the topics, but we didn't go in depth in anything. Okay. Did I record those classes? Yeah, I did. So you could always go back and look at it. Right? Right. Try number 3 here. Right. So all we're doing is giving an equation, and you just writing the value in front of x squared, in front of x, and the constant. All right. Try this one here. Y is equal to easy one. Easy. 3 minus 2x squared. What is A, what is B, and what is C? What is A, what is B, and C? First thing you have to do is to rearrange. Right? And then put out what B here. Well, cartridge. Add it to our elements, right? So you pair that. We're gonna do more thing on the right? Right. Who wants to help out here? Anybody? No, nobody. So why is what here? Rearrange it first. Minus 2x squared, right? It always has the value and the sign in front of it, right? So don't forget the sign. Minus 2x squared. Look. Have a class in back there. Let's leave it. And this is plus 3. Add mass, right? Add mass, right? Right. Oh, so those who doing well, all three with me whole it today. There's add maths and then physics. I'll give you a little small breaks in between, right? If you want to run away and get pies, there's a bakery next door, but there's a cafeteria downstairs. Right? If you want anything, there's someone will open cafe up. All right, and all the classes will be recorded as well. And those who have chem and bio, they don't have that this week. All those started next week. Okay. Right. Good. So y is equal to this. Now a is what? A is minus 2. The value and the sign in front of x squared. What about b? B is what? You have a guess for B? I will just show me how much. Very good. There's no B. There's no X term. You all realize that? There is no X term. It went straight in constant. Very good. And C is? C is 2. Okay, you got it right? Coming up with chess. We have chess every evening, right? I think Wednesday and Friday are supposed to be there. And the other days you can just come and play. Can someone come in, friends, come and play? Pull it down so the door. One last thing, one last question. Right? I just want to see how you will handle it, right? It is a quadratic, but it doesn't look like it. So you have to make it look like a quadratic. All right? So what you say? X, I'll make it simple, right? X minus 1, 2x plus 1. Right? Online, are you okay? Online, when you all finish, you can message A, B, and C to me alone, not to everyone, right? So when you send any answers, just say A is this, B is this, C is this. Hey, do it up. Anyway, I want to. So we got to figure out what to do. We got to figure out what we're going to do. Right. Somebody said you have to expand the bracket, but you don't know how. But see, you have to expand the bracket. Right? I'll show you that now. I'm going to see how to do it. Right, so let me see if we can expand. Like a tree. All right, so let's see how it looks. Right, let us see how it looked, right? Right, Sophia, nice. Jason, just check back a B. Okay, so when you expanded x by 2x, that'll give you 2x squared. All right, so you multiply x by 2 of them. Okay, so x by 2x, that's 2x squared. X by plus 1 is plus x. Okay, minus 1 by 2x is minus 2x. And then minus 1 by plus 1. Okay, so when you expand in a bracket, you're supposed to get 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Okay, once you do it properly, you're supposed to get 4 terms, right? This by these two, this by these two. One of the things that I want you to pay attention to today is that you're always multiplying the value and the sign. Okay, so x by 2x, x by plus 1. Okay, and then inside here, you can bring your like terms together. So you have 2x squared plus x minus 2x. So that is 2x squared minus x. Right? Plus 1 minus 2 minus 1. Right? Minus 1. And now you can write down A is 2, B is minus 1. B is minus 1. Okay? A is the value in front of x squared. B is the value in front of x as minus 1. And C is constant. Okay. Blocking here. Right, see here. Just take one. Take one. And once you can get A, B, and C. Kind of 5. Take your time and expand it, right? Copy that. All right, I'll give all you a chance, right? All right, so let's see. So y is equal to 2 by 3x. So it's 2 by this, that's 6x. 2 by minus 1, that's minus. Minus x by this. Minus x by minus. Okay, minus x by minus 1 plus. Okay, rearrange it. Bring the x squared first. Right, for those who missed it, remember, when you rearrange it, the signs will change. So the minus 3x squared stays minus 3x squared. When you take something and move it across the equal sign, that's when the sign will change. Okay? 6x plus x, that's plus 7x minus. So x is, sorry. So a is equal to the value and the sign in front of x squared. B is equal to the value and the sign in front of x. And C is equal to minus. That's okay? Any questions? Right, any questions online? All right, good job, Amrit, Safir, Sebastian, nice. Okay, now we're going to use these, we're going to use these values. Right? So I told you a little while ago that the quadratic. I told you a little while ago what the quadratic looks like. Oh, there we go. The quadratic has those shapes, right? Yes, sir. All right. So as I told you before, to sketch a quadratic now, we need to be able to get a few things. All right. I told you the quadratic has two shapes. It has the bowl shape and the upside down bowl shape. Okay. We need to be able to sketch this. To sketch this, we need these things. All right. So in order for us to sketch it, what we need is a few things. I'm going to draw one version of it, right? Purchase here. Right? It cuts the x-axis. There's the y and there's the x, right? Cuts the y at a point. Sorry, the x at a point. Cuts the x at a point. Sorry, it cuts the x at a point, it cuts the y at a point. When it reaches at a particular point called the turning point, it's going to turn and start to move upwards. Then cut the x again. Right? So this is a possible shape of a quadratic. And it has four main points. It has where it cuts the x-axis, where it cuts the y-axis, and this special point called the turning point. You'll see why it's called a turning point. It went from decreasing, and it turns to increasing. That's okay. Or the maximum, the next one, the one that looks like this. Same thing. Right, so these are the two possibilities for your quadratic. Again, same thing, cuts the x-axis, cuts the y-axis, and there's also a turning point. You're seeing the turning point. It went from increasing, then it turns to decreasing. Okay, this special point here and this special point here is called your turning point. That's okay. We're going to learn how to get a few things. Number one, we're going to learn how to get the shape, and number two, how to get a turning point. All right. So next heading, sketch a quadratic, sketch these two, and I want to give you a few pointers. Wait, didn't put a name? Okay. All right, before we continue with this, something I wanted to show you. All right, so this here is the breakdown of the entire ADMA syllabus, right? Cannot forget some of you all the first time, right? So remember, ADMA has three sections, right? Paper 1. Right. ADMA has 3 sections. A paper 1 has multiple choice. A paper 2 has all the topics that we're going to do, the structured, and has the SB. All right. So in the paper 2 and the paper 1 as well, these are all of the topics that we had to cover. All right. Section 1, that is your algebra section with series and sequences. Section 2, that's coordinate geometry, vectors, and trigs. Section 3 is calculus, differentiation and integration. Section 4 is your probability and stats. All right. If we look here, we are starting here. Right. We are going to do quadratics, take a look at inequalities, and we're going to come and take a look at algebra. All right. So that's where we are starting on the Saturday classes. For those who want to see the other topics, y'all could log in online on a Monday and join the next class on a Monday class, right? And they are doing differentiation, right? If you want, and even if you're interested, I might ask 1 or 2 of you, if you want to write it in a year, right? You all could come to both classes and write ADMAS in a year. Okay, right? But if you at any point in time you want to log in and take a look at the topics that the Form 5 is doing, you all could log in. Once you start at the beginning, you wouldn't get lost. Right? If you start in between, you'll get lost. But if you start at how we now start differentiation and you start there, right, you will be able to follow the topics. All right. And it'll benefit you later or next year. When you do the topic, you would have seen it already, right? And it makes it much easier to understand it. All right. And one of the ways to get really good at ADMAS is to practice a lot. All right. That's basically the key. The topics aren't difficult, but sometimes when they give you like, see like how in the quadratic question I gave you one to expand, right? You have to be able to do all the different types, right? You should be able to find A, B, and C, but it's based on the type they give you, you have to be able to simplify it properly. And the more ADMAS you do, the easier that simplification process is. All right. Right. I'll send this in the group, right? There's a summary of all the things I need to know in ADMAS. So like if you look here, a quadratic, there's a summary here on the quadratic. So once you learn this, you know everything you need to know in quadratics. Okay, so I want to add it to the groups, you'll get out. Okay. All right, nice. So since we are there, everybody put a name and contact here, right? Yeah. All right, so nice. So next thing that we have to look at is how to sketch this actual quadratic, right? We need to be able to sketch that. And there are a few things that we need to do. Number 1, right? We need to, firstly, we need to find A, B, right? And we got already do that. Second thing we need to do is we need to find the shape. So what do I mean by shape? Well, it can be shaped like this. That is called a minimum shape. Anybody can guess why they call it minimum? Right? The reason they call it minimum is it comes down to a minimum and then goes back up. Okay? Or it could be a maximum. Right? Maximum means it goes up to a maximum value again. How you do with a minimum? A is more than 0. Oh, sorry. A is more than 0. So you take this A, if it's more than 0, is this. If A is less than 0, right? If A is less than 0, if A is less than 0, then it's a max. All right, just copy that down there. Copy down. Fill up a few more. Right. So that's 1, 2. Right. So to get this one, we just have to look at the A value. That's okay. And third thing, we need to know that special point there, Devon. This point here is very special, right? It's called a turning point. Right, the turning point is always minus HK. So you need to learn to find H and K. Right? H is, you're taking these letters again. H is B over 2A. And K is C minus AH squared. Just something I want to point out here, right? This is saying you're squaring the H, then you're multiplying by E. Okay? It's not A by H, then you're squaring it. Right? This is A by H squared. You're squaring the H. All right? And so we had a shape, right? And then 2 more things. We have to find where it cuts the x-axis and where it cuts the y-axis. But we're not doing that today. Just adding that into the notes. Okay, copy it down. And then we're going to try an example to get it full 3 things. Ready for example 1. So once we have these 5 things, we can draw this, right? Once we know the shape, once we know the turning point, once we know where cuts the x and cuts the y, we can draw this. Look at that. Yeah, so we're going to do an example. Anybody writing? Anybody writing online? Today we're just going to learn to do 1, 2, 3. All right, next day we'll finish it up. Right? So first thing first, write down ABC for me. Write down ABC for me. Write down what is A. Write down what is B. Write down what is C. All right, we'll be doing this one together. Right? A is how much? A is 5, B is -2, and C is -2. All okay there? Right, step 1 done. Step 2 is to get a shape. Right? So we're looking at the A value. Is A more than or less than 0? More than 0. A is more than 0, therefore it's a minimum. Right? So we know how it's shaped. Okay? So we're done with 1, we're done with 2. Now we're going to take a look at 3. How to get each and k, but don't forget to put the minus sign after we get each. Yeah? So our next step is to find each. So watch this here. Each is b over 2a. B is minus 2. A is 5. So minus 2 over 10. 2 will cancel, so you'll get minus 1/5. Everybody okay with that? So we have each. Yeah? So we have each. Right. Everybody watch here because here's where people tend to make little mistakes. Right? K. K is equal to C minus A H squared. Right? Put in C. C is minus 3. Right? Notice a bracket around it, right? Right? Put in E. A is 5. And then put in H. H is minus 1/5. But I need to remember to square H. Are you okay with that? So when you reach here now, right? Minus 3, you can leave it like that. Right? Minus, I'm leaving this here. Minus 1/5 squared. I'm working out that first. So that'll give me 5 by minus 1/5 squared is 1 on 25. Watch it again. Minus 1/5 squared is 1 on 25, and I'm multiplying that by 5. So what's the first thing I did? The first thing I did was find H. Square H. That's okay? So I squared H first. So when I square this, I got this. And I'm going to multiply this by this. So that'll be minus 3 minus 5 by 1 on 25 is 1/5. Everybody okay with that? Yeah? And then that will give us minus 3 and 1/5. Now we're done. We could tell them that, you'll see that there, right? We could tell them that the turning point is equal to minus H. So if H is minus 1/5, what is minus H? Positive 1/5, right? So if H is minus 1/5, then minus H will be minus and a minus of plus. Okay? So that'll be plus 1/5. Everybody okay there? So H minus H is plus 1/5 and K is minus 3 and 1/5. That's it. We have the turning point, we have the shape, and we have ABC. Everybody okay there? Right, those who have math is half 9, right? What is also math, so if you want to take it in, right? Okay, so anything I want to remember from this, that you're squaring each first, then you multiply it by. Let's try one. Number 2, do the same thing. So right? Find ABC. The key. All right, let's see. Let's see how it went. So help me out here. A is what? A is, B is, and C is 1. That's okay? That value there, more than 0, less than 0. Less than 0, right? So A is, sorry. Yeah, A is less than 0. So therefore is a maximum. That's okay? Don't leave out this step, right? This value is less than 0, so it's a maximum. Yeah? H, right? Some of you are looking at this example and making a mistake and write back these values. Right? Remember you use it. These values here. Okay? So H is equal to B over 2A. So B is minus 3. A is minus 4. Right? Nothing is cancelled, so it's minus 3 over minus 8. Minus 3 over minus 8 is positive 3. That's okay? Yeah? And K now, K is C minus AH squared. So be careful here because I gave you a little extra sign here to work with. C is positive 1. A is negative 4. And H is 3H squared. So what's the first thing I'm going to do? Right? There's a minus and a minus, so this becomes plus. Or you can leave the minus sign there, nothing wrong with that. Okay? 4 by 3H squared. 3 squared is 9. 8 squared is 64. All okay with that? Oh, I got the plus sign here. I have a minus and a minus here. That's okay? So I got a plus sign here. All okay with that? And then this 4 will cancel with 64 and give you 60. So we end up with 1 plus 9 on 60. Okay? And we'll end up with 1 and 960. So therefore, what is the turning point? The turning point is equal to minus H. So if H is 3/8, minus H is minus 3. And K is 1 and 960. Right, good. Before we wrap up, I just want to show you something as well about calculator. Right? So watch this here. See that? Some people will get problems, some of you will get some trouble with this, right? If you put this exactly in the calculator, you can get this value here. Okay? So learn to do it, right? So if I try to put this exactly as in the calculator, it'll be 1 minus, open brackets, negative 4 multiplied by 3 on H squared. So I put in open brackets, 3 divided by 8 all squared. And I close brackets. Right? So I put in this exact thing here in a calculator. Equal, and I got same value. Okay? So although you're working it out, you can put it in a calculator and just make sure you get the same thing. Right? Try to get Casio. Casio will help you because Casio is very simple to put in fractions and things. Okay with that? So I will send you the description of this calculator because I want you to get that particular calculator, right? Right. So what did we do today? Today we learned about identifying a quadratic. We learned about pulling out A, B, and C from the quadratic, and then using that to find the shape and the turning point. Okay? This will take you 3 minutes or 5 minutes to revise. Before class starts next day, make sure and go over this. Because we're going to continue from right here next day. If you don't remember this, when you start next class, you're going to be lost. Okay? So I want you to spend some time, go over this. So we're going to continue from right here next day. We still have 2 more things before we could actually draw them. Are you okay with that? All right. So add maths.